Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency.
That is downright wrong.
They are nicknames designed to do more than just nick an opponent.
Lion Ted. What's your name? My name's Lion Ted Cruz.
From Lion Ted to Low Energy Jeb to
Little Marco.
Donald Trump even revels in misspelling them.
How would you spell that? L-Y-E-N. Lion.
And now he's got a new nickname intended to torment.
Crooked Hillary, fuck.
I don't respond to Donald Trump and his string of insults.
She's been crooked from the beginning.
He can say whatever he wants to say about me.
Crooked Hillary Clinton.
I really could care less.
Sometimes the Donald dispenses a nickname that doesn't stick. For instance, all those crazy Megyn Kelly tweets never quite took off. Trump suggested a nickname for himself when the candidates were asked what they'd like their Secret Service name to be.
Humble.
Actually, the Secret Service ended up codenaming Trump Mogul. Mogul has been the target of nicknaming retaliation from Ted Cruz.
Donald wakes up at night in cold sweats that people will call him Losing Donald.
The fact that we have stupid negotiators, we have very stupid people in our country negotiating for us, and we have leaders that don't know what they're doing.
We have leadership that's incompetent. We have leadership that in many respects is stupid. When I look at the stupidity of our leadership in this country.
His response, his visceral response to attack people on their appearance, short, tall, fat, ugly. My goodness, that happened in junior high. Are we not way above that? Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
Well, Charles Krauthammer is a totally overrated person. He really dislikes me personally. I never met him, but I mean, he's a totally overrated guy, doesn't know what he's doing. He was totally in favor of the war in Iraq. He wanted to go into Iraq, and he wanted to, stay there forever. So, these are overrated people.
I have to tell you about the media. They are the most dishonest people. They're worse than Rubio, and they're worse than Cruz. They are worse than Little Marco, and they're worse than Lion Ted Cruz, I'm telling you.
I don't think Cruz deals well with pressure. I think he's a basket case. He thought he was going to win New Hampshire, and he lost. Not only did he lose, he lost big league. I think that Cruz does not handle pressure well. I don't think that Rubio handles pressure well. You saw that in his run-in with Christie. I mean, I was standing next to Rubio, and I thought he just got out of a swimming pool. He was soaking wet. I mean, so I don't think he handles pressure well. I just don't see him negotiate. Look, I don't see that personality negotiating with Putin like this personality, okay?
In fairness, Marco is not a negotiator. I watched him melt down, and I'll tell you, it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
For example, you're the only person on the stage that's ever been fined for hiring people to work on your projects illegally. You hired some workers from Poland.
I'm the only one on the stage that's hired people. You haven't hired anybody. I am not sitting in the United States Senate with, by the way, the worst voting record there is today.
I have a policy question for you, sir.
Let's see if he answers it.
I will. Don't worry about it, Marco. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Little Marco. I will.
All right, well, let's hear Big Don. Donald.
Don't worry about it, Don't worry about it, Little Marco.
Gentlemen,
Let's hear it.
gentlemen.
You ought to show up.
Gentlemen, you got to do better than this.
This guy has the number one.
Mr. Trump, may I ask you, Mr. Trump, I'd like to ask you a policy question. Your proposed tax cut.
That's why the people in Florida do not like him. He hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee. So when Little Marco spews his crap about the size of my hands, which are big, the size of my hand, those hands can hit a golf ball 285 yards. Right? Jeb Bush will never take us to the promised land. He doesn't have it. Hillary will never take us to the promised land. Hillary will be a disaster as a president. Jeb will be very poor as a president. No energy. I think Ben Carson's a very low energy person. Actually, I think Ben Carson is lower energy than Jeb, if you want to know the truth. We need strong energy.
The other day I brought it up. I said the World Trade Center came down during your brother's reign.
Do you think there's a chance it will actually hurt Jeb Bush to have his brother here in the state?
I don't know it's going to hurt. I don't think anything can hurt him. I think he's doing so badly. How much worse can he be hurt? You know.
You have accused Jeb Bush of being weak on immigration.
Weak, period. But you know, you look at a guy like Jeb Bush, he's taking 100 low energy. He's taking 120 extremely low.
Having trouble sleeping at night, too much energy, need some low energy.
May have an HSA in some companies don't. But I think the norm ought to be
Jeb, for all your sleeping needs.
But the
I didn't
simple
want
fact
to,
is...
excuse me, 1 second.
No.
I
The
didn't
simple
want
fact
to,
is,
Jeff,
Donald,
oh,
you
good.
cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like
No.
that. Look,
was
your
the
brother
man.
and your brother's administration gave us Barack Obama because it was such a disaster those last 3 months that Abraham Lincoln couldn't have been elected. Jeb wants to be, he wants to be a tough guy. He wants to be a tough guy. Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough
a lot
is
of
it?
times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there.
This is a tough business to run for
I know.
president.
You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the
let's
presidency.
see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
Is when a guy is allowed to lie, like Ted Cruz, where you can just say, take an issue, boom, just make it the opposite. Boom, make it the opposite.
You've come across a lot of politicians in New York, New Jersey, Las Vegas.
Too many.
Is Senator Ted Cruz really the dirtiest politician you've ever
Well,
come across?
no, not the dirtiest. He's the biggest liar. I've seen some that are much more cunning. My only worry about South Carolina is that my opponents lie, especially Cruz. I mean, Cruz, as I said, he's the single worst liar I've ever seen. You have a guy like Ted Cruz who's nervous as can be. I looked at him the other day. He's a wreck. He's a nervous wreck. His polls are going down the tubes.
Ted Cruz he's got a mental problem. Ted Cruz is a liar. He's got a problem, but he's a liar. I've never seen anybody to that extent. Okay.
He's still hacking away at Senator Ted Cruz.
Every other senator thinks he's a whack job. Right? You are the single biggest liar. You probably are worse than Jeb Bush. You are the single biggest liar. This guy will say anything. Nasty guy. Now I know why he doesn't have one endorsement from any of his colleagues.
All right, Donald, adults learn not to interrupt each other.
Yeah, I know. You're an adult. You are all talk and no action. What I've seen up here, I mean, first of all, this guy's a choke artist and this guy's a liar. You have a combination.
This guy always goes.
You have a combination of factors. He
This
can't
is so
do it
typical.
for the obvious reason, and he can't do
here's
it
the
because
typical
he
thing he
doesn't
does.
know how to tell the truth. I know you're embarrassed. I know you're embarrassed, but keep fighting. Keep swinging, man. Swing for the fences. Thank you for the book. I really appreciate it.
Donald, relax.
Go ahead. I'm relaxed. You're the basket case.
Let me tell you something. Falsely accusing someone of lying is
ahead, Mr.
itself a
Trump.
lie, and it's something Donald does daily.
Go ahead, Mr. Trump.
I watched the lobbyists.
You've been funding liberal Democratic politicians, and by the way,
I funded
the
I
reason
funded him.
You're welcome to have the check back.
I funded this guy.
Because let's
I
be
gave
clear.
him a check. First of all,
Mr.
he's
Trump.
talking about the polls. I'm beating him awfully badly in the polls.
But you're not
single
beating
one of them.
Hillary.
So
But
I don't
you're not
know.
beating
I
Hillary.
don't- Well, then if I can't beat her, you're really going to get killed, aren't you?
Our party now has a nominee. And I don't know. All right. That was pretty well orchestrated. Jeff, did you email them to fly the plane right when I said that?
When you come up with these nicknames for these guys, Lion Ted, Crazy Bernie, Crooked Hillary, do you have a team of people at work? Do you brainstorm, or is it just you come up with it and that's it?
The team is right there.
The team is right there. And then do you announce... You just go right on Twitter with it? Do you have Twitter on your phone?
Well, my new, and then I get rid of them because I don't want to be calling him Lion Ted anymore or Little Marco or any of the names that I came up with.
Yeah, yeah. Good ones. Good
low
names.
energy.
Low energy Jeb, yeah.
He hasn't endorsed it.
You know, you should come up with one for Bill Clinton, it seems like. You haven't come up with one.
I don't want to, really, I don't want to do anything like that. But I have come up with Crooked Hillary, and you know what's going on. She's very crooked. They had a bad report come out today, and it's a rough report. That is a sad report. Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States. Hillary was the worst. In the history of the United States, there's never been a Secretary of State so bad as Hillary.
What do you think of Hillary Clinton as a president? If she wins the nomination, she
I think
takes
Hillary
the White
would be a
House.
terrible president. She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? I think she'd be a terrible president. Hillary would let everybody come in, killers, criminals, drug dealers, everybody. If you listen to Hillary, everybody is going to be flowing through the nation. And Hillary said Donald Trump took time off the campaign. Can you believe it? Here's a woman goes home and she goes to sleep all the time. Think of it. She's got no energy whatsoever. Honestly, she has less energy than Jeb Bush. Admit it.
You know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
And she lied. Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. That's one that I haven't. Okay, Honest Abe. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you. That's a big, big difference. We're talking about some difference.
Please allow her to respond. She didn't talk while you talked.
Yes, that's true. I didn't.
Because you
I
have
didn't
nothing
in
to
the
say.
first debate. I'd like to get to the questions that the people have brought here tonight to talk to us about.
And get off this question.
Okay, Donald, I know you're into big diversion tonight, anything to avoid talking about your campaign and the way it's exploding and the way Republicans are leaving you. But let's at
see what
least
happens.
focus
Allow her to
on some of
respond.
the
Let's see what
issues
happens.
that